Oh man, it's here. It's here, and I don't even know what it is. Here's all I know. The shipping weight was 223 pounds, and it has Pro in the name. I was told by the marketing director that it has a 15.5 kilowatt motor, and that's literally all I know. So I'm so excited for this. What was that? About a year ago, I bought this Rawrr Mantis X. I just thought they were cool bikes. I wanted to go ride with them and see what they were like. It was my first e-moto, and I had a blast with it. I filmed a whole bunch of content with it, and then Rawrr found me on YouTube and said, hey, we've got a mini R coming out, your son, and you would love this bike. Let's put together some content on that. I did that, and I love that bike. The bike is so much fun. They called me up a couple weeks ago and said, hey, we've got something big coming. Biggest thing we've had. I don't even know what it is, and it's literally in my driveway right now.
Break it.
Looks like the X, but it says the Pro. The only bike that owns the name Pro. That must mean it's fast. I want to know what it does. What does it do? Try and keep up. All right, check this out. Advertised 65 miles per hour, 15,000 watt motor. The original X has a 6,500 watt motor. That means this is more than twice as powerful and 15 miles per hour faster. We have to test it. We have to test it. Oh, wait. Check this out. This is new. There's a tail light integrated onto it. That's so cool. 158 pounds. 0 to 30 in 2.7 seconds. We're gonna test all this. We gotta make sure that those numbers are right. We're gonna do some more unboxing and dig into this, but I'm excited just off of this page alone. This is gonna be an awesome bike. Let's see what it can do. So being as this is the Mantis X Pro, I expect there to be a lot of similarities between the Mantis X and the Pro version. I'll do a full video comparing the two different models to see exactly what's different, but let's just cover some things real quickly that I see when I first got it unboxed. So before I even really pull things apart, just by taking the casing off, I can see a couple big differences. One is the swing arm. The swing arm has a pivot point now. There's a linkage there, very similar to a full-size dirt bike. That should give some better suspension travel. The brakes are much larger and they look to be DOT brakes, DOT fluid that is, rather than mineral fluid. I'll know more once I get the master cylinders out of here. There's not a foot brake, so still probably just the two handbrakes there. The motor looks beefier. There is still a gearbox. It's not direct drive, so it's similar to the X in that regard. I can't wait to dig into this and see what's really different. So in this box, there is a Rawrr bag, which has the number plate on it. Big Rawrr Mantis logo on there, pretty cool. Also in here we have the Rawrr toolbox. All the other Mantises have come with that, the Mini and the X. Got bar risers, got axle spacers, hardware, zip ties, Loctite, all the essentials to put this bike together. You've got your front axle, you've got some more bar spacers, looks to be the front number plate mount, and then some more bolts. And then we have the charger, probably the same charger as my current X. Looks to be the same. I'll check the specs later and see if it's exactly the same charger. It might be. And then owner's manual. Another big difference I noticed right off the bat is the chain itself. I'll measure it and get the differences, but this chain looks much beefier, which it should be with a beefier output motor. When you've got 15,000 watts of power going to it, you need to have a strong chain. Hopefully it doesn't stretch as much as the X's did. Enough talking, let's build this thing. I'm gonna wanna put the risers on. That's pretty low. Good thing it comes with risers. So if you watched my build video of the Mantis Mini R, I made some comments about the manual not having enough instructions to it. they paid attention. After chatting with the team during the assembly of this bike, they decided to put together a pamphlet of some tips as well as a QR code that you can scan with your phone to view all the directions to assemble the bike. On the back of the pamphlet is the torque specs. This is immensely helpful, and I'm so glad that they were able to put this together. I can't take credit for this whole thing, but I know that when I built the R, I asked a lot of questions about the assembly for the purpose of educating the viewers, including torque specs, because I do a lot of maintenance stuff too, of like how to change the oil, how to adjust your brakes, things like that. So torque specs are important. The fact that your manual has that now, I love that. Good add for sure. So in the accessories kit, there were 2 separate sets of bar risers. You could run 1 set or you can run 2 sets, because this time they included 2 different length of bolts so that you have the ability to run the double riser and bring the bars up even closer. Being as I'm 6 feet tall, I'm going to try to run the double riser. On my X, I ran 1 riser. I want to see what it feels like to have double riser, if it makes it any better for more aggressive riding or for somebody who's taller. Now, this might be just in this kit, so I'm not sure if yours will be the same, but the shorter bolts have a lock washer on it where the longer bolts do not. So if you're using the longer bolts, make sure you pull those lock washers off of the short ones to put on the long bolts. There's different positions on the bars too, same as the X and the Mini, but it gives you the ability to go forwards and backwards with the bars. As I'm a taller rider, I'm going to push the bars a bit forward just to make sure I have the clearance that I need. The rear mount. The bolts in first. Don't forget those lock washers again. Spacers have the same lines, the same holes, so make room for those. That's a big riser. I might regret this. Oh, cool. I didn't notice this before either. It actually has on the bar clamp, it has the torque specs written right there. That's an awesome thing to see too. Don't crank down too hard on these. It's only 70 inch-pounds of torque or 8 Newton meters, which is really not a lot of power. If you do too much, you could strip out the threads that are in the triple clamp. If you do too little, the bars will rotate. So having a torque wrench is probably your best bet. If you're just using your hand, it's hard to say what you would want to put that at. Let me grab a torque wrench and I'll show you how much force I'm actually putting on it. It's really just hand tight. Like, that's so little amount of force. Here's another big change. You've got an LED pod light of sorts instead of a headlight assembly. This is lighter, this is easier, and you don't have a big cross member bar for an accessories, which it's okay. I pulled mine off anyway, I didn't really care. But here's a really cool thing for a lot of you street riders out there. You've got plugins for turn signals. Now I'm curious, does that mean that there are controls for it too? You have a turn signal switch. That's cool. High beam, low beam, and horn. DOT4 fluid. Nice. Keep in mind, do not squeeze these until you attach the wheel. Otherwise you'll compress the pistons and you'll have to pry those apart to get the wheel on. Looks like the same throttle control as the X. Got your mode switch there, kill switch there. Looks like the same dash. I'll pull the screen off, I'll get it all hooked up, and we'll run through some of the modes. But I'm noticing that because the headlight is attached to the same bracket as the gauge, it might be harder to relocate that gauge. On my X, I pulled the gauge back here so that it wasn't in the way of the brake line. I don't know yet. We'll see if this brake line becomes a problem. Being as it's lower down and it's got a different guide on it, it might not be an issue. So we'll see what happens when we get it all together and get riding. I did it again. I think I did this on the Mini too. I put the handlebars on before I put on the bracket that holds the front number plate. That means I have to take the bars back off, put this in underneath the spacers. That way I can put the number plate on with its correct mounting spot. I should have read the directions. The front fender is attached with 3 bolts. These holes go through that way. Now is an optimal time for me to tell you that, in full disclosure, Rawrr did send me this bike in exchange for a series of videos that I'm putting together on them. I made sure that I was explicit. I do not want to have my opinion swayed. I am not going to be commissioned on this. I don't get anything if you buy a Rawrr. I am purely doing this so I can help you learn more about the bike and hopefully get information out there about the e-moto world in general, because I want more riders out there. I want more kids on bikes. I want more adults on bikes. The name of my channel is We Ride Too because I love anything on two wheels. I will ride anything with two wheels, specifically with a motor, and that's my goal, is just to get more people out there riding more. When I first went through the accessories and I said that there was something that was an axle spacer, I was wrong. It is actually a headlight replacement post. So if you don't want to run with the headlight, you can take the headlight bolts out here and here, and this is threaded, and this will go in there. You can't run them both at the same time, but if you wanted to have your cell phone up, or if you wanted to have a different set of lights or whatever, this is the accessories post for you here. Just trying to game the system and just build it on the crate itself, but it's obviously going to be a lot easier if I just get one of my dirt bike stands, throw it underneath the bike, and lift the whole thing off the ground. The wheel will go in and out pretty easily at that point. Remember, work smarter, not harder. Should be much easier now. Let me show you why too. These stands are so awesome. How much that just raised the front end. So convenient, so easy. I love these things for working on. You gotta leave this in, squeeze the brake lever, rubber piece comes out. The instructions didn't include that either. Keep the spacer in, pull the tab out, and then you can pull the spacer out and put the wheel on. So I want to point this out if you've never done this before. The axle doesn't line up to the fork tube on the bottom, and it's not because they're twisted or bent or anything. This is the air side of the fork, so it's pre-charged with air and it's pushing the fork down, whereas this one doesn't go past that point. This sometimes happens when you put the wheel on. We're going to have to pull this fork tube up to line in the axle. Don't forget the other cap. Here's another instance where the torque wrench will come in handy. These end caps are supposed to be at 22 foot-pounds of torque, but since it's threaded on both sides, we have to use an Allen key on one side and then a torque wrench on the other to make sure we get the right tension. And then we can tighten down the pinch bolts. Those are the last ones. You gotta do both sides. These torque specs are awesome. Thank you for including these, Rawrr. Seriously. Let's give it a good spin. Dang, locked up pretty good. So these are shorter levers too. I like the short, it's like a one finger pull. It's kind of sweet. I think we're ready to turn it on. Oh, the safety thing on the back too. We got to pull that one off as well. We are ready for the first dry run zip test. Oh. We are ready. We are in eco mode. Kill switch is on. Did I just see 40 miles an hour in eco mode? Let's throw on a helmet and do a real quick zip around the neighborhood. I mean, I guess I gotta take off some of the other stuff, right? Like foot pegs, other pieces of foam. And there's a big zip tie on the seat here. So I pulled the seat off to get this zip tie out, and I couldn't help but notice this. The power adapter, the main power cord, now has locking tabs. That's sweet. One of the most common errors that I got on my X was that the connection point wasn't good enough, especially if I was out at a motocross track and I was jumping, or if I had taken it out to charge the battery and threw it back in too quickly and it wasn't seated properly. This makes sure it's seated. That's cool. There's still no breaker on the X though. There's a breaker on the Mini, but there's no breaker on the X, even the X Pro. Not sure why. All right, let's go give this thing a try. Keep in mind, these are not street legal, but I think that would be fun. Try to change it up, get a license plate for this thing. It's got the turn signals, it's got the horn, the headlights, the brake light. Its next steps are almost there. All right, we are in eco mode, 45% battery. I have not charged this, so let's go see what eco mode looks like. Throttle feels the same as it does on my X. Nothing too substantially different on that. My guess is the biggest change will be in race mode. But you know what? I'm just going to give you a tease of that. I hope you like this video. I hope you want to see more of this stuff. I've got a lot more content coming on the Pro, including motocross tracks, trails, all kinds of suspension adjustments. Let's just see what we can do with this thing. But let's see what race will do. Ready? So fast, too fast. I'm in my neighborhood. I can't go too fast. I definitely broke the speed limit just now, so see you in the next one.